This is the best Punisher has been in years. No exaggeration. No nostalgia goggles. This opening issue from Benjamin Percy drops you into Frank Castle's world in a way that is brutal, clinical, and deeply unsettling. Because the story doesn't begin with a mission. It begins with confusion. Frank wakes up on a burning boat. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know when he is. And worst of all, he doesn't know who he is. All he sees is red. Red, the color of pain. The color of blood. The only thing that makes sense to him. He takes inventory not with emotion but with precision. He's been shot in the occipital bone. The right shoulder. The left thigh. From the rate of swelling, the coagulation of blood, and the lingering smell of sulfur in the air, he calculates that the gunfight happened less than 10 minutes ago. He doesn't know his name. But he knows ballistics. He knows weapons. He knows death. There's a 9mm Uzi in his hand. 32-round magazine. Empty. Around him are bodies. Burnt. Torn apart. Slaughtered. They mean nothing to him. No more than fish in a crate. He's lost more than a liter of blood. The boat is on fire. Smoke is filling his lungs. He should leave. But he needs to understand why he's here. He looks around and estimates the cargo. 500-pound bags of fentanyl powder. This wasn't random. This was a drug shipment. And he destroyed it. Then he hears the sound that brings him fully back to life. Sirens. Police boats. And what he does next is pure instinct. He opens fire on the cops. Not to kill them. Just to disable them. To escape. To survive. Because even if he doesn't know who he is, his body does. He runs. Not out of fear. But because he cannot be captured. He cannot be stopped. Because the only thing that matters is the work. The work of the blade and the bullet. He lives so others may die. Cut to a Catholic church. A priest enters the confession booth and asks the usual question. How long has it been since your last confession? The voice on the other side calmly replies, let's just say I've become deeply interested in the concept of sin. But he's not here to confess. He's here to expose. He asks the priest to reach under the bench. There's a gun taped beneath it. The voice explains how much he admires the Catholic Church. Its charity, its global aid, its good works. But when you deal with vulnerable people, predators hide among them. And this priest has spent 20 years using international charity programs to traffic men, women, and children into New York. The man in the booth says he's already sent all the evidence to the diocese and the NYPD. The priest will be arrested in the morning. So now the gun is for him. Think of it like a rosary, the voice says. Something to pray over while you seek absolution. The priest takes his own life. And the man in the booth steps out. Wilson Fisk. The Kingpin. And he's not acting like a crime boss. He's acting like a man on a mission to cleanse the city. We then cut to the aftermath of the burning boat. Cops examine the charred bodies. They recognize some of the dead as men connected to Tombstone, one of the most dangerous crime lords in New York. The officers realize something horrifying. These men weren't killed by the fire. They were shredded by gunfire before the flames ever touched them. Someone massacred them. And whoever did it just started a war. Because you do not hit Tombstone's operation and walk away. Cut to Tombstone. He has 5 men hanging from meat hooks in a warehouse. Members of different gangs. He doesn't care if they're innocent or guilty. He only needs one thing. A name. He promises them a quick death if they talk. Otherwise he'll take them apart piece by piece. He demonstrates this by nearly severing a man's arm and ripping the rest free with his bare hands. Tombstone isn't angry. He's methodical. Someone destroyed his shipment. Someone killed his crew. And he is going to tear the city apart until he finds out who. Then we shift to Brooklyn. An old woman walking her dog along the beach discovers a body. Frank's body. She thinks he's dead until he suddenly vomits and gasps for air. She tries to call for help. Frank crushes her phone. No hospital. No phone. Take me to your house. She's terrified, but she does it. Inside her small, rundown home, Frank gives her instructions. Tweezers, needle, thread, lighter. He drinks vodka to numb the pain and begins digging bullets out of himself. She asks him if he's a bad person. He tells her not to ask questions. Then she says something that stops him cold. When you passed out, I tried to sew up the wound on your head, but it was already stitched. Someone had already operated on him. Recently. Frank starts to panic. Something is wrong. Something is missing. Cut back to Wilson Fisk standing in a penthouse looking out over New York through a telescope. He confronts a corrupt city councilwoman who's been taking bribes from foreign powers. He kills her. Then he explains his philosophy. From the highest penthouse to the lowest subway tunnel, he is going to clean this city. Not as mayor, but as Kingpin. And he mentions something very important. He says one of his instruments has already started a gang war. We cut back to Frank. He's disoriented. He's hearing something, feeling something. Then Fisk sits at a computer and presses a button. All right, Frank. You've rested long enough. Time to get back to work. Frank wasn't hired. He wasn't convinced. He wasn't bribed. He was programmed. Mind control. Fisk is activating the Punisher like a weapon. Frank's demeanor changes instantly. The woman asks if he's okay. He looks at her calmly and asks, "Do you have any guns?" And that's how this issue ends. Not with a mission. Not with a revenge story. But with the horrifying realization that the most dangerous man in Marvel Comics is being remotely controlled by Wilson Fisk. The Punisher isn't hunting criminals. He's being used to start a city-wide purge. And Tombstone, the gangs, the cops, none of them know what's really happening. But a war is coming. And Frank Castle isn't even aware he's the one pulling the trigger.